So I'm going to go through tools. This might be exciting, might be boring. Depends on how you look at that. I'll try to do them in groups that make sense, especially the tools on the pegboards. Fret rockers. I have a couple. This one is made of aluminum. It's nice. This is the StewMac one that I've been using forever. Fret rocker, I suggest you buy a decent one. Don't try to skimp out and buy a cheap one. This is the Fret Kisser, which has diamond coating on here so you can actually level a fret. So radius gauges, you're going to have these style. These work only if the strings are off the guitar, and these work, because they're notched, if there's strings on the guitar. These are great when your guitar, you're trying to diagnose something. Like for instance, you have the strings on the guitar and you just want to know what radius the fretboard is. You don't want to go through the process of maybe taking the strings off to find that out. There are these style as well. These are what's also referred to as under saddle radius gauges, because these will fit underneath the strings and over the saddles. These are my original ones from like 20 years ago, and StewMac got smart and made them thin to make it easier to get underneath the strings. If you were going to buy one set, I would get these. You could use these. You could actually go underneath the strings on the fretboard as well. After radius gauges, we're going to have fret guards. So these are fret guards. These are designed so that you can polish your frets and not have to tape off the fretboard. These are the Music Nomad ones, but I do have the standard ones you see at StewMac. Out of all of them, I used to love the StewMac ones. I've really come accustomed to these, to the Music Nomad ones. If I was only going to buy one fret guard, I would get the Music Nomad ones. So here's your notched straight edge. You can get a straight edge like this. So if you want to be on top of the frets. This tool is absolutely ridiculously priced if you look at StewMac, but it's a buy once, cry once tool, and it's so good. It's taken so much abuse over the years. I am not a huge fan of these. Music Nomad makes these fret shields that's all in one. I actually have ones made by other companies way before these guys did it. This is a company called Lesko. I prefer the Lesko ones. Quality, much thicker, better than the Music Nomads, but I rarely to almost never use them. Not really tools, but important. Don't buy these from StewMac or Music Nomad. This one's from Music Nomad. They both pulled this crap. This one's from Music Nomad. This one's from StewMac. You can find both of these on Amazon looking up brushes for cleaning your inside your car for your air conditioning vents. That's what these are. They repurpose these. But these are fantastic. This one is perfect for getting the dust out of here and like your headstock area. This one is essentially the same thing. But this thing underneath here is great if you want to clean the underneath of your strings. Like that, and the top of your strings. That's perfect. Look at that. One more time. Look at how easy that was. If you're learning something or having a good time, don't forget you can subscribe for free and help this channel. Or for $10 a month, you can join me on Patreon for live clinics where you can ask questions every single week. Next up is going to be Allen wrenches. So here's the StewMac sets. These are not specific to StewMac. They just say StewMac on them. You can get these anywhere. So what you have is a metric set and a standard set. If you only get one, definitely get metric. You'll be using metric 85% of the time, even if it's USA. In fact, here's what's the funny thing about Allen wrenches. You use about the same 4 or 5 all the time. Even if a guitar is made in the USA, like this Kyser, if I was going to guess, this USA made guitar has a, I'm going to guess, a 4mm truss rod. And that's exactly what it has. A 4mm truss rod is going to be the most common truss rod. So you could just have one 4mm Allen wrench for almost all truss rods. Now, what's interesting about that is this bridge is Goto. So obviously it's going to be metric. If I was going to guess, 1.5mm, and that's exactly what that is. It is very common for USA guitars to still have mostly metric components. It's very rare. I think Fender uses 2 Allen wrenches for their truss rods. So they'll use a 3/16, so it will look like this for older made in USA truss rods. And then newer made in USA truss rods, I'm going to say it's 1/8. So Fender truss rods will be standard. Most other companies' truss rods will be metric. PRS and Gibson will use a socket wrench style truss rod that looks like this. If you get Allen wrenches sets, you don't have to get these from StewMac. Like I said, StewMac just branded these. You can find these anywhere at hardware stores. Just get yourself a nice metric set for sure. Music Nomad makes this set, which is all the truss rod adjustments you'll need. It's 1/8, 4mm, 5mm, 3/16, which I showed you earlier. There's a 5/32, 9/64. These are going to be all the truss rod, and of course the ones I told you about, the socket ones. We have a capo here. You're going to need capos. I use the Kyser Capo. This is by Addario. Here's a string action gauge. Probably this is just in there because it's been in there forever. Because obviously, think about this. This is the one I use, so it's not only in my tackle box, it's on my wall. So this is the one I highly recommend. Again, I like this so much that I have one in here and in my toolbox. StewMac makes this. It's really overpriced. I had a friend tell me, because he said this is like made in China or something, and he bought a USA built one. He was much nicer, more robust. And I said, okay. And then he's like, dude, it sucks because the other one has all these bits in there, but none of them are useful. StewMac curated this specifically to the guitar world. It's everything you're gonna ever need for a guitar. Every situation. A mirror. This is to look inside an acoustic guitar. So I can get in there and look around, see what's going on. We have these files right here. When we refret a guitar, after we've done the refret, we want to go ahead and file these. These have a file at an angle. Sometimes you'll see these, especially on Amazon, with wood blocks. These are nylon blocks, so they're really smooth and they glide over the frets. It's more of a convenience thing. You can use them out of wood. It doesn't matter. These are from StewMac. I've had these forever. I rarely use this one. In fact, you can kind of tell from looking at them. This one I use more. This one I think is more, because you're gonna have an area you're gonna wanna go over, especially if you have some frets that you've just clipped and you wanna start shaping them. This is a great way, because of the angle of the file, to just start shaping them. And again, if you only buy one, buy the smaller one. This is one of my favorite tools ever. It's $2.98, it's at Harbor Freight. It's a Dent Puller. And I use this for when you're trying to take back plates off a guitar. You fold this down like so. So it looks like that. Stick it down like so. And voila, it lets you pull the back plates off guitars. For $2.90, Harbor Freight, Dent Puller, totally worth it. And then you undo it, and it comes off. Next, we're gonna show these. These are StewMac as well. These are Allen wrench drivers. These are very important. I have two kinds of them, so I'll put these here. And then I have this set, which are more designed for acoustic guitars. These are tapered. In other words, they get smaller as they go forward. Sometimes if you have somebody slightly stripped their truss rod, and you go to put the Allen wrench in there and you feel it wiggle, like for instance, let's say I told you it was a 4mm Allen wrench, and you put it in the truss rod and you feel it wiggle because somebody probably put a smaller one in there and kind of stripped the edges a little bit. These ones, they're tapered, and so as you insert them into the truss rod, at some point they bite. So at some point they bite, and then with having them longer with a handle, you can get in there and release or tighten that truss rod and not have to replace anything. I don't know how important these are to the home hobbyist, but to a working tech, these are worth their weight in gold, because you're dealing with a lot of guitars where you could be the final straw that broke the camel's back. You literally, the customer has, kind of started stripping their truss rod, and now you got to deal with it. And if you strip it, you have to replace it or fix it. So it's nice to have tools like this. So tapered ones like this are fantastic. Let's go more tools, more stuff. Okay, what else do we got? This is a great tool. This is a string spacing ruler from StewMac. This is fantastic. This is what you use when you're cutting a new nut and you want to figure out the spacing. It just does it for you. There's slots cut in it. This is if you're going to cut a bunch of nuts, this is the tool to have. I'm looking at it right now and mine's got like 1,000 pencil marks on it. Let's talk about files. So files, these are nut files. This is my original set that I've had now for about 20 years. These are the ones that I've been using forever. I cracked the handle and electrical taped that one back together. These are all the files for a guitar nut slot. So, and then I wrote on Sharpie, I tell you what they are. And like Allen wrenches, I kind of learned like this is where you just always end up. 56, 46, 36, 32, 26, 17, Let's say 24, 24, 17, and 10. I was thinking, well, what if you have a 9 gauge string? Use 10. What if you have an 11 gauge string? Use 10. When you use these files, what you'll learn is that when you originally score it for the first time, you'll have a 10, right? A 10 gauge string. And then if you want 11, you'll tilt it to the right and run it again. And then you'll tilt it to the left and you'll run it again. And each pass, you're just slightly widening it to 11 and you drop 11 in there. StewMac has a new set that's better. Now I do have this set. This is the Music Nomad file set that I think is far superior in quality to the StewMac one, but I hate these handles. Now let's talk about fret files. These are pretty straightforward. I'm going to talk about these. These ones in particular are the most important to me. This is what you see most luthiers use instead of what I call the fret and dress file, or what they call the fret and dress file. Look at it, it's got rust on it because I don't use it. This is what I used to use before I discovered the magic of the fret and dress file. Fret and dress, man, is the way to go. It's just a better file. We have crowning files. I have lots of crowning files. So of course I have the safe file by Music Nomad. I really like that. I have the Z file by StewMac. This is their highest quality crowning file. I would say this is my favorite quality one. I like this better quality than this one. And then of course we have my old one. This is my medium wide file that I used until I got the Z file. If you're gonna get one and you want a really good quality one, get the Z file. If you want the dumbed down, like don't have to think about it, that's what the safe file is for. So it just depends. If you were going to ask, I don't know if you guys are going to ask, do you use the safe file? Not really. I like it because of what I told you guys. It's easy and I don't think you can mess it up. But from experience, I just kind of done it so much. I'll just grab like the Z file and go. This is one of the files you guys were asking me about. This is the 6-inch file. Here's my original one. I'm still using to this day. I want to say this is at least 20 something years old. Here's one I bought about 10 years ago. I don't know why I bought this. I bought this one and they're the same, so I have two for no reason. They still work to this day. They're fantastic. The main thing I use it for, you can use it to obviously level your frets. Level the frets, obviously the string's off, you can level your frets. I'll use it for that often. Actually, the two things I use it for the most, absolutely, without a question, is acoustic guitars when they get the 12 fret hump. The 12 fret hump is where there's a little bump in the neck from the different pieces of wood drying at different times. And you get some dead notes and around the the 12th fret area. And this is great when you're going to level, but you're not going to level the whole fretboard. You're just kind of leveling the hump out, right? So you're going to level this way. The other thing I use it for, and I have a video on this, I use it here, and I show you guys how I actually take care of fret spout using this, especially if it's really bad. I also put this file in, if there is such a thing as my top 10 tools to have. This one is a tool that if you buy, you will find uses for it over and over again. I don't have to show you a caliper, right? You guys know I have calipers. Socket wrenches, just because you see this stuff, this is a set from StewMac. This is output jack. See how I put output? That lets me know that's the size of an output jack, which is a 1/2 inch. Do you need this? No, you can just use a socket, but I always thought these were cool. These are for tuning keys, which is 10 millimeters. And then this one I never use. I like to, when I'm working, to not have to think more than I have to about certain things. What I've learned about these, the tuning keys and the output jack, I try these and they don't work. It's this one. That's all you need to know. That's why I loved it. So StewMac dumped it down to the 3 sizes you need, and that's it. Brian says, how do you put deoxit in the pots of a hollow body guitar if they don't have a back plate? The thing that you definitely will save it's so worth it. This is one of those tools. If you can find it, not at StewMac, you don't have to buy it from them, but it's awesome. This is the tool. I've shown this once before. See, it's got a little hole on the side and there's threading right there. And how this would work is you thread this on, okay, like so. And this works for guitar amps as well. And then you go ahead and take your deoxit like this, stick it in the hole on the side, and you wait a second. And what will happen is it'll fill up this, I don't know what this is. It'll fill it up, the cylinder, and then you let gravity let the deoxit go through the little crack in the thing. And it works on your amp as well. Sometimes you want to take your amp and put it so the knobs are all facing upward, but even if they're horizontal, it works really well. Is there other ways? Oh man, you could talk about this though. Buy this. It's really great. Multimeters. I don't know why I stuck with this one, the Proster one that I got on Amazon. Funny thing about this one, I don't know why, but this one seems to work the best. I've tried a ton of them. I have like 5 or 6 multimeters. It's just weird, and that one just worked. So that one, which happens to be an affordable one at Amazon. Brian says, what output jack tightener do you like? They make one with a brass end. I have chewed through 2 of these plastic ones over the years. This is my 2nd or 3rd plastic one. And the next time I kill this one, I'm gonna buy a brass one. This tightener is ingenious. It has a rubber plug. The plug goes into the jack and bites into the jack, and then this thing, see? It's like a handle. Click down, and then once you click down, you turn it. And then you hold this. And that's how you tighten it. StewMac does sell this with a brass end, but the brass one's more expensive. If you think you won't strip it over time, then go with the plastic. Other things that are nice, I have helping hands. If you don't have a set of these, I don't use the magnifying glass, but to have it hold, you know, something, so I can set it here when I'm working on a guitar. And for instance, let's say I come out here with a spool of wire and I want to solder something. It's really nice to be able to go, okay, cool, you know, have it hold the wire or have it hold the part, and then I can freehand with a soldering iron right there. So the helping hands is nice for $5. Somebody asked me about radius blocks for radiusing. StewMac makes a wood set. I would say for most of you, the wood set's good enough. I have a special one that was made for me. This is my radius block. It's machined out of aluminum. So what he did, which is ingenious, so he machined this and then he made attachments. So there's 4 Allen screws right there. And then I have every one. So like this is a 10-inch radius block. The one that's on there is a 12. So you get the idea. He made every single block you can think of. Here's a 16-inch block. I have all of them. Instead of having 10 of these big blocks, he just made a handle with each block attachment. We'll do a second thing. Obviously, I used the Weller soldering station. Okay, hopefully you guys had some fun. I had some fun. And thanks for your time. Know your gear.